Today, we're going to be talking about Condemned Criminal Origins, a forgotten gem and one of my favorite horror games of all time. Another October and another horror game, another horror movie. Isn't this the best time of the year? I was thinking to myself, I can't believe it's been 20 years since Condemned Criminal Origins. Without a doubt, one of my favorite horror games of the 360 era. Some of the classics. You know, it has a little bit of like a Silent Hill psychological vibe to it. You know, it really does. I mean, if you play Condemned and really sink into the atmosphere, it's horrifying. I mean, 90% of the game you're in dark, barely lit rooms, hallways, abandoned libraries, underground tunnels of a train station. I mean, the list goes on. At mannequin store, yo, mannequins are pretty fucking scary. I don't know about you, but they're pretty scary. So let's get into it. So Condemned starts out, you play as FBI agent Ethan Thomas. And you get a call about some kind of disturbance. All over the city there's been crimes and like a serial killer on the loose. So you go to this like building, it's like an abandoned building slash like apartment, high rise kind of vibe. And it's like dark and gloomy. Instantly throwbacks to all the horror games I love, like as you can see in the graphics and the setting. You know, in classic horror fashion, as soon as the game starts, you have to split up. You're forced to split up. You barely have anything to defend yourself. Real true beauty to this game is this is one of the first games that really focused on like melee for the combat. Like there's hardly firearms in this game. There's a few. You get like revolvers, a handgun, shotgun. Later on in the game you get like a machine gun and a rifle. But if you do choose to pick up a firearm, the ammo is very, very scarce, and it will help you out during the game. But what I love about this game is when you start it, there's no difficulty setting. It's just one difficulty. You have to rip things off the wall, pipes, you know, empty desk drawers, or 2x4s with nails on them. Anything in the environment that you can pick up, you have to use to defend yourself. I absolutely love that. Condemned is a first-person psychological survival horror. So as you go through the first level, so as you explore the building, one of the cops warns you that there's people in the building and you have to fight your first enemy.
Federal agent, come out peacefully or I will use force.
You could parry. You gotta time it to block shots. You could swing. You could kick. Kicking is very, very useful in this game. Sometimes you need it. And as you see here, it's pretty terrifying. And from that moment on, the game never really holds your hand. So upon completing the first level, you run into this serial killer, the suspect. And he kills both cops. He knocks you out, throws you out a window. And he basically frames you for the murder. He puts like the gun in your hand. Next chapter, you wake up. You're back in your apartment. And you're being warned, some of your coworkers in the FBI, that you got to get out of here. The cops are after you. They think you did the murder. So instantly you got to escape your apartment. You're on the run. You're being framed for something you didn't do. The whole city's in chaos. There's some kind of control through like the airwaves, like there's like these TVs you see, and some kind of like satanic cult that has like a grip on the city, and the homeless people of the city and just the civilians are all batshit crazy. They're being possessed, and they're all in like some kind of something is empowering them, and violence everywhere. There's riots. So as you escape through your apartment to the alleyways, the underground tunnels, the next couple levels, you're in the subway station, all the trains underground. Then you escape, you come back up, you go to a mannequin store because this serial killer has like a mannequin theme. You know, he tends to put mannequin pieces and parts at the crime scene. So it's like a department store slash like mini mall, abandoned library. Then you go to more alleyways. Then you go to a school.
Be any help? There's no reason.
And finally, after the school, you learn about this apple orchard or some kind of farm that where all this is taking place. And his hideout. You go to the house. And after the house, you're driving a little further out, and now you're out in like this little farm. That's the end of the game. And you confront the killer. And you learn there's a few plot twists. And like the story really picks up at the end. Like all these plot twists, and you're like, oh shit, like this is like cinematic. Like this could be on a movie level. And finally you fight the end boss, who is this like tall figure, like devilish. His jaw's all wired with these things, and everything in him is abnormal, and he's terrifying. You got to fight him. And once the game concludes, you're back in a diner, hanging out, and seems like all is well. And Ethan takes a look into the mirror and has like this flashback, and he turns to the camera, and it just ends like that. It's very. It was a cool ending, somewhat of a cliffhanger in a sense. And we were graced with a sequel about almost 3 years later, which I think Condemned 2 Bloodshot is awesome. Tells the story of Ethan a few years later. He's going through a lot of stuff, and things get deeper and deeper, which it's kind of sad to think we didn't get a third entry into the series, because I think Condemned 1 and 2 are absolute masterpieces. Condemned 2 came out at a weird time. It came out during like the golden age of Xbox 360 and multiplayer. Games like Halo 3 and Gears 2, Gears 1, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1. All these games were so ahead of their time and multiplayer favorites, and people just wanted to play multiplayer back then. So unfortunately, a game like Condemned 2 kind of was shadowed by all those greats. But yeah, it's just a lot of people didn't really resonate with Condemned 2. That's why we didn't get a third installment. But I will end this by saying we need a Condemned 1 remake. Like, this game is such a masterpiece, and people have to play it in modern graphics and gameplay. Like, I'll tell you what, this game still holds up for being 20 years old. So if you haven't played it, do yourself a favor and play this game. But we absolutely need a Condemned 1 remake, without a doubt. Like, it'll be such a hit. So hopefully, one day soon, we get a Condemned 1 remake. Even the achievements back in the day were really fun. It was like an odd 970 instead of a full 1,000. So to this day, 20 years later, I still don't have all the achievements, and I said I want to beat the game melee only, and that's what propelled me to do this whole retrospect review and deep dive again. And I gotta say, the game is still timeless and classic, and I'm still having fun and getting achievements 20 years later. I mean, aside from the game being pretty difficult, there's a ton of replay value, and as you get achievements, if you go into the main menu and view the achievements, you get to see concept art and all kinds of cool little files and behind the scenes of how they made this game, the animations and all the concept arts. I mean, this is just beautiful to see how they made this masterpiece. That's what I loved about games back then. Like, this was a complete package. For like $40-50, you got everything. You got replay value, You got a masterpiece. You got a good story.
And
You can just keep playing this game. 20 years later, I'm still playing it.
You so desperately sought and then killed them.
Well, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment. Let me know what you think. We'll leave it here with the ending. And once again, if you haven't played this, this is a must play. 10 out of 10. Absolute masterpiece. I love this game.